Tonight we're going to talk about the number one health issue facing women, and that's heart and cardiovascular disease. This is life-saving information, not just for women, but also for everyone they love and care for. And we're going to talk about how to do it naturally by addressing the one organ that makes all the difference. Most women assume that I'll be talking about their heart, and while your heart is critical to your health, there is another organ that actually regulates all of your cardiovascular system. This is Nobel Prize winning information and cutting-edge vascular research. Unfortunately, 95% of the population has never heard of this organ and the direct impact it has on cardiovascular health and wellness. Together, we can change this dynamic and make a huge impact on saving lives and helping women do what they do best: provide the love for their families, the care for their loved ones, the structural support necessary for communities to thrive, and strength to the business community. However, before we talk about this unknown organ, I'd like to help you understand why this information is so critical to your health. Most of the focus on women's health centers on the prevention of breast cancer. While this is extremely important, you need to hear the following facts. More than 200,000 women die each year from heart attacks, 5 times greater than the number of deaths due to breast cancer. More than 159,000 women die each year of congestive heart failure. This is 4 times greater than breast cancer. For American women over the age of 20, 35% of all deaths are caused by cardiovascular disease. This means that in a room of 100 women, 35 of them are going to die from some form of cardiovascular disease. Just think of the impact this has on family structure, community life, church involvement, and the business environment. Absolutely huge and devastating, and it doesn't have to be this way. We spend billions in research looking for the cure, yet the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine clearly shows us a natural pathway to directly address this issue. In researching material for this presentation, I came across tons of information, and it all is neatly summed up in the following ABCs of heart health. A. Avoid tobacco. B. Be more active. C. Choose good nutrition. All good information, which we'll look at in just a minute, but no one talks about the letter E. E stands for the endothelium, which is the largest secreting organ in your body and critical to your cardiovascular health. Your endothelium is only 1 cell thick, but it lines the inside of your heart. The inside of all your arteries and arterioles, veins, and venules are lined by this organ. Your capillaries are just extensions of the endothelium. Scientists and researchers once thought this 1 cell thick lining was just an inert membrane that didn't have any purpose other than keeping your blood in the vascular system. But research over the last 10 years has clearly shown the endothelium to be a multifunctional organ involved in metabolic, immunologic, and cardiovascular health. One of those functions is to convert the amino acid L-arginine into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. Before we talk about nitric oxide, I'd like to help you get a feel for how large an organ your endothelium is. It's estimated that there are approximately 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the adult body. Every blood vessel is lined by the endothelium. If you took out your endothelium and spread it on a flat surface, it would cover a surface volume of 4 to 8 tennis courts, depending upon the size of the individual. Your endothelium is the largest secreting organ in your body, and for many of you, tonight is the first time you're getting any in-depth information about it. Your endothelial cells perform several key functions in the cardiovascular system. The first one is angiogenesis, or the formation of new capillary beds. This is necessary for wound healing and critical in helping to limit the damage from a heart attack or stroke. Your endothelium facilitates blood flow and is involved in both the prevention of blood clots through nitric oxide as well as helping your blood to clot. Your endothelial cells are the controlling factor in the regulation of your blood pressure, and your endothelium provides a specialized barrier function to regulate the passage of gases, fluids, and various molecules across their membrane. This plays an extremely important function for each organ as well as your immune system. Most vascular researchers now believe it's your endothelium that ultimately determines the health of your cardiovascular system. And one function of the endothelium is to produce a gas called nitric oxide. This is so important to your cardiovascular health that the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to 3 American researchers who discovered how your endothelium converts the amino acid L-arginine into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. One of these Nobel laureates is Dr. Louis J. Ignarro, who wrote a national bestseller called No More Heart Disease. I'd like to focus on the subtitle of his book. It says, How Nitric Oxide Can Prevent, Even Reverse Heart Disease and Strokes. End of quote. To emphasize this point, I'd like to read to you 2 short quotes from Dr. Ignarro's book. Here's the first one. Though NO's structure is simple, nitric oxide is now regarded as the most significant molecule in the body, absolutely critical to your well-being. I am convinced that nitric oxide can age-proof your cardiovascular system, keeping it much fitter than your chronological age would indicate. And the second one is this. Now we know we can reverse cardiovascular impairment naturally with the body's internally manufactured wonder drug, nitric oxide. Additionally, Dr. John Cook, the director of vascular medicine at Stanford University, published a book called The Cardiovascular Cure. Notice his subtitle, How to Strengthen Your Self-Defense Against Heart Attack and Stroke. Dr. Cook goes on to say the following, This book will introduce you to the magic that is inside your blood vessels. It comes in the shape of a molecule, one of the simplest molecules found in nature. This molecule is nitric oxide, or NO, a substance so powerful that it can actually protect you from heart attack and stroke. Best of all, your body can make it on its own. Nitric oxide is your body's own built-in natural protection against heart disease. End of quote. Unfortunately, this is not the message given to women about improving their cardiovascular health. After reviewing all the prominent sites devoted to women's heart health, here is a summary of their list of recommendations. Stop smoking, reduce stress, maintain a normal blood pressure, properly manage your cholesterol levels, be active, lose weight, alcohol in moderation, control blood sugar levels, avoid recreational drugs, and prevent osteoporosis. All wonderful recommendations to help you improve your health, but no one mentions the importance of properly nourishing your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. Proper nitric oxide levels in your bloodstream are critical, but before we talk about some of the specific functions of nitric oxide, I'd like to put this slide on the screen. 77% of Americans treated for a first stroke have high blood pressure. 69% of Americans who have a first heart attack have high blood pressure. 74% of Americans with congestive heart failure have high blood pressure, and 66% of Americans with diabetes have high blood pressure. As you can clearly see, high blood pressure is a common ailment of all 4 of these cardiovascular health issues. Now you might think that this information applies to men more than it does to women. In the quest for equality, women now surpass men in this category. More women die of heart disease each year than men, and this has been going on since 1984. For over 25 years, women have exceeded men in this category of cardiovascular disease. Additionally, a blood clot formation that lodges in a vascular artery is usually the reason for a stroke or heart attack. The vast majority of these diseases are a result of endothelial cell dysfunction and its inability to properly produce nitric oxide. This information helps us to clearly identify 3 keys to solving most of the cardiovascular issues affecting women. They are controlling blood pressure, preventing blood clots, reversing endothelial cell dysfunction. Here's how nitric oxide directly addresses each of these keys. First, nitric oxide is your body's most powerful vasodilator. What this means is that nitric oxide causes the smooth muscle of your vascular wall to relax. which helps to keep your blood pressure in a normal range. That would directly benefit our first key of controlling blood pressure. Second, nitric oxide keeps blood platelet cells from sticking together to naturally prevent blood clots. This would reduce the number one cause of strokes and heart attacks and directly address our second key, which is to prevent blood clots. Third, nitric oxide helps to repair damage done to the endothelium and keep it free from plaque formations and calcification. Plaque formations result in the disease called atherosclerosis, and calcification results in the disease called arteriosclerosis. According to the American Heart Association, 74% of all cardiovascular disease is related to atherosclerosis, plaque formations within the artery, and arteriosclerosis, calcification or hardening of the arteries. Proper levels of nitric oxide help to prevent both of these issues, and it directly addresses the last key of helping to reverse endothelial cell dysfunction. Now, you might be thinking, why hasn't my physician told me this information? Well, the answer is they most likely don't know. A 2005 American Heart Association study showed that only 8% of primary care physicians and 17% of cardiologists knew that heart disease kills more women than men. While this is beginning to change, what is not changing is the lack of information about the critical role your endothelium and nitric oxide plays in cardiovascular health. So how does your endothelium create this nitric oxide? Well, there are two important amino acids needed. They are L-arginine and L-citrulline. Your endothelium directly converts L-arginine into nitric oxide, but it needs a certain level. As you can see by the PowerPoint slide, I've listed some common food sources in which to obtain this amino acid. Let me make a few general comments. Most research indicates that for you to receive a therapeutic benefit from L-arginine, you need to consume at least 5 grams of this amino acid at one time. So I selected 6 food items that I thought would be common food choices. I did the math conversions to look at how much food you would need to eat to take in 5 grams of L-arginine. I also looked at the number of calories and grams of fat it would bring into your body. As you can see by the slide, peanuts provide the smallest quantity of food, but they pack on 70 grams of fat and 918 calories. When you examine this slide, you can see that the 3 best choices are beans, tuna, or chicken breast. 1 can of beans or 2 cans of tuna or almost 1 pound of chicken are needed on a daily basis. This quantity of food is necessary to have a significant therapeutic effect on your endothelial cells and their ability to properly produce nitric oxide. For L-citrulline, you have one good choice, which is watermelon. Unfortunately, 60% of the L-citrulline is contained in the rind portion, which most people typically throw away. So unless you juice the entire watermelon, most people do not get adequate amounts of L-citrulline to help turbocharge their endothelium's ability to properly produce nitric oxide. Which brings us to the question, is it better to get these amino acids through food or supplementation? Well, before we talk about supplementation, I need to make one more important point about these 2 amino acids. When you bring in a therapeutic level of L-arginine, it typically results in a 30-minute to 2-hour window of improved nitric oxide production. When you combine your L-arginine with a therapeutic level of L-citrulline, you increase this production of nitric oxide to an 18 to 36-hour window. This has huge health benefits in helping you repair the damage done to the endothelium. Which brings us back to the question of supplementation. If you choose supplementation, then one of the best is Proarginine Plus from Synergy Worldwide. In fact, many believe it's the best nitric oxide supplement in the marketplace. It has been intentionally designed to help nourish your endothelium to properly produce nitric oxide for improved cardiovascular health and function. Proarginine Plus contains both L-arginine and L-citrulline at the needed levels to help turbocharge your endothelium's ability to properly produce nitric oxide over an extended period of time. Additionally, Proarginine Plus also includes the following ingredients: vitamins B9, B6, and B12, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, vitamin C, D-ribose, grape skin extract, red wine extract, pomegranate extract. I'm not going to go into detail about each ingredient, but I would like to highlight two, which will help you better understand the science that went into the design of this product and directly address another health issue facing women. I want to highlight vitamins D3 and K2. You need vitamin D3 to help your body properly absorb calcium. You need vitamin K2 to help your body properly direct where calcium goes. Calcium is extremely important for your body, not just for bone health and the prevention of osteoporosis, but also for a wide variety of cellular reactions, one of which is the creation of nitric oxide. Let me use the following illustration to help you understand the importance of calcium in nitric oxide production. If you walk into a dark room and you want the lights on, you flip the switch on the wall. If you look at nitric oxide as the light, the wiring in the wall as the enzymatic process the endothelium uses to create nitric oxide, and L-arginine as the electricity, then the switch is calcium. Calcium starts the reaction. Vitamin D3 and vitamin K2 help to regulate your calcium levels in your bloodstream so that this reaction can properly take place. The reason why Proargin Plus is so effective is because of the science and manufacturing expertise that has gone into the development of this product. It's manufactured by Nature's Sunshine Products and distributed by Synergy worldwide. Nature's Sunshine is 40 years old. They're one of the most respected nutritional manufacturers in the world. Both Synergy and Nature's Sunshine have received the NSF Good Manufacturing Certification, which means that they meet the highest standards in the nutrition industry for quality assurance and control. The manufacturing process to create the proprietary formulation of Proargin Plus is second to none. A total of 262 tests are conducted along the various stages of manufacturing to ensure the highest quality and potency of the ingredients used. This level of quality is also reflected in the people who are associated with this product. On the screen is Dr. J. Joseph Prendergast, considered by many to be one of the leading authorities in the world on the use of L-arginine for the treatment of cardiovascular concerns. Dr. Joe has been using L-arginine, L-citrulline therapy since 1991 to help his diabetic patients experience phenomenal results. Dr. Joe contributed his 20 years of practical experience and research with the nutritional scientists at Nature's Sunshine to develop the Proargin Plus formulation. What also makes Proargin Plus unique in the nutrition industry is that it has clinical application and studies to back up its effectiveness. The High Desert Heart Institute is located in Victorville, California. They're considered one of the premier heart institutes in the world. In 2009, they did a human clinical study using Proargin Plus. In fact, it's the most complete and comprehensive human clinical study ever done on a nutritional supplement. This study involved 33 congestive heart failure patients who were all medically and pharmaceutically managed to the maximum. Over a 90-day period, these patients were given an aggressive amount of Proargin Plus, and by the end of 90 days, all patients had their medications substantially reduced. Because of these remarkable changes, the High Desert Heart Institute uses Proargin Plus as part of their standard treatment program for their patients, and they continue to do ongoing cardiovascular studies using this highly effective product. So what does all this information mean to you? Well, a healthy endothelium equals a healthy cardiovascular system. The health of your endothelium and its ability to properly produce nitric oxide can potentially reduce your risk for high blood pressure, cholesterol concerns, diabetic complications, and other cardiovascular issues that have shortened the lifespan of so many women. We believe Proargin Plus can help you combat the negative effects of premature cardiovascular aging for you and your loved ones. Since most of your life revolves around your cardiovascular system, any improvements typically result in improved cell, tissue, and organ function. Additionally, Progeny Plus comes with a 90-day unconditional money-back guarantee. When you factor in ingredients, price, quality assurance, clinical studies, and the money-back guarantee, Progeny Plus has the best value and an extremely competitive price. This leaves us with a final question. Are you ready to experience the health benefits of Progeny Plus by taking our 90-day health challenge with an unconditional money-back guarantee? If your answer is yes, then please contact the person who invited you to this presentation. They can assist you in your purchase of Progeny Plus and help you properly start on this excellent product. Or you can contact us at the Synergy Co-op. I've placed our contact information on the screen. We're part of a team whose mission is to help save 1 million lives. We'll work with you and your healthcare provider to help you properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. And if for any reason you're not satisfied with your results during the 90-day health challenge, then you can return all the product, used and unused, for a full refund. Please call us if you have any questions about this remarkable product.